Have you ever heard the saying, we'll have to cross that bridge when we get there? Ah, man, I have said that. It's been one of my favorite sayings for a long time. Not that I actually enjoy it, but I'm not sure what it says for my planning or lack thereof planning, but this trip has certainly been a we'll cross that bridge when we get there kind of trip. So we're currently in Grizzly Springs rest area along I-70 and just outside of Glenwood Springs, Glenwood Canyon. One of my favorite places ever. This might be the prettiest rest area that you'll ever stop at. So if you're cruising through the area, stop and hang out here, especially right now. We've got some pretty decent fall colors going on around us. So it's a beautiful time to be here, but we are mid-trip. Actually, we're probably mid-trip. So what I'm up to is I have flown from one coast to the other. So flew out of Norfolk, which is where we were in our last episode. I flew out to the Pacific to LA, to the Pacific coast for a meeting, and then I'm flown back to Colorado, where I am now taking my daughter's car from Colorado out to Norfolk for her, so she'll have a car while she's there. So I am crossing the country and now crossing back across the country. And now I have about 31-ish hours of driving to do. And I wasn't real sure how to make an episode about this. I kind of just wanted to because it's a crazy trip. And it wasn't until I got here I actually thought, like, how can I do this? What can I make this about? And I'm standing on this beautiful little bridge. And I've got the I-70, like a causeway, I don't know what you call this thing. It's a giant bridge. There's several of these. It's an engineering marvel that goes through this canyon. Yeah, it's got me thinking about crossing bridges. So I still got half of the country to cross. So I'm sure we're going to cross, all sorts of cool stuff. So I don't know. I just thought I'd make a video about what all we come across in this crazy adventure of life that is the next 48 hours or so of me just driving marathon. So let's go. We're going to go see what happens. So the Colorado River flows right through Glenwood Canyon, and here at this rest area, there's a put in for folks using the river for whitewater rafting, fishing, things like that. So it's a cool place to just walk down, see if there's anybody out fishing or taking out here on the river. Pretty awesome spot. Good place to catch a glimpse of the Colorado. The mighty Colorado. Remember, this thing goes on to create the Grand Canyon. So it's kind of cool to see it while the water's still clear up here in the mountains. You can see a couple of fish floating out there, but I'm sure you can't see them. But it's a nice spot to just stop and soak up some water sounds today. I just noticed this. So this is probably what we should have went with, is life in the fast lane. I don't know that this is going to be fast, but maybe it's a life in the persistent lane. It's more along the lines of what we're going for, but I don't want to leave this spot. It's a beautiful spot. Okay, I guess that's enough fun for one stop. Time to get back on the road. Let's go. So we're coming up on the Johnson-Eisenhower tunnels. Eastbound I-70, there's some nice snow up on the mountains. Up at the higher elevation here, so this will take us through across the Continental Divide, which is cool. So we're crossing a bridge, actually going through a tunnel to metaphorically cross the bridge over the Continental Divide. So if you're not familiar with what the Continental Divide is, everything that any rain that falls on the east side heads towards the Gulf or towards the Atlantic, towards the Mississippi, and well, I should just be the Gulf. But anyway, it goes to the east. Anything that comes on the west heads out towards the Pacific somehow. So anyway, here we are at the Johnson-Eisenhower Tunnel. So the Johnson is our side, 1979. The Eisenhower, 1973 on the other side. Pretty cool little experience cruising through the tunnel here. Rise and shine, campers. We're in central Kansas. It's about 4:30 in the morning. Pulled over just before 1 to try and get some rest. Got some pretty good sleep, so just slept in the back of the car. I've got a sleeping bag pitched here with the seats down. I don't know if you can really see that, but anyway, Kansas is like the world's longest state when you're trying to get across here, man. It is a big bridge to cross when you get here. But we've made it a good ways last night. Let's knock it out, see if we can get Missouri. Here's the sun comes up. So anyway, let's get this thing rolling. All right, we're gonna stop, get a little fuel here in, I believe it's Abilene, Kansas. I did pop the fuel door. Let's get that. Can I open this thing? Never opens up. Good. All right, so anyway, we're in Abilene, Kansas, just after getting up. Just got far enough down the road to just get out into the light for a second, stretch our legs while we get a little fuel in the car. I think it's $2.43, $2.46 a gallon here, so it's a good little price to take advantage of for some fuel. It's kind of one of the like travel headaches, you know. You're always like trying to find good prices on fuel and whatever, just to make it affordable to travel. So anyway, getting some fuel, maybe get a energy drink or something to kick off the day, some coffee. Yeah, keep moving through Kansas. Here we go. If you're from Kansas, tell me some cool stuff to go do next time I actually have time to spend some time in Kansas, would you? So don't want to not do Kansas justice. Okay, so admittedly, I feel very Clark Griswold after driving across Kansas thinking, how am I going to make this interesting? We could zip down to Liberal. What for? The House of Mud. It's only the largest freestanding mud dwelling ever built, that's all. But after Kansas, then as I enter St. Louis, of course, then I think, oh yeah, the St. Louis Arch as I see it come into view. So I feel like so Clark Griswold. And of course now I have to say, look kids, the St. Louis Arch. 600 feet tall with an elevator that goes all the way to the top. Cool, can we stop and see it, Dad? No, we can't. We'll go walk through the museum, give you a super quick tour, and then we got to get back on the road because I didn't even think about this. But we can't go all the way to the top. We don't have time. I've got to get back on the road. It's going to be like super early in the morning before I get there, if I even make it today. So sorry, kids. This is the best we can do.
Everybody watched the progress of the arch, and from almost any point of the city that you were at, you could see the progress, really. They followed it in the paper, so consequently, the city kind of came alive a little bit on the day we set the last piece. I kept my kids out of school so they could see it. I thought it was a nice part of history for them to see also. I don't think there was much work being done in the buildings downtown because everybody was at a window. It was a nice atmosphere. It really was. The fanfare that was there, they had boats in the river blowing whistles. I'm only sorry that they didn't build arches all over the world. The only bad part about me putting it in place is I'm the only guy that didn't see it till the film come out. I think it's a nice part of the history of the city of St. Louis, and we the National Park Service to keep this dream alive, so to say.
Well, we spent less than an hour at Gateway Arch, but I still think it was well worth it. It was good just to see it, walk through the museum. I really intended to just stop and take a picture, and that was pretty much all I was going to get to. So I still think it was well worth it. Museum was super cool. Since we left a little bit ago, I've listened to sort of a podcast history of the Arch and the St. Louis area, and it's a pretty cool story. So I think there's a lot of fun there. So I hope you enjoy just what little I could give you today, just walking through the museum and little brief comments about Gateway Arch. But yeah, that's definitely another place I got to get back to, and I think it'd be great on a sunny day. Unlike in the last episode, sort of experiencing the Atlantic on a dreary day was really cool. I feel like the sun on the reflection of the arch, would sort of be the way to experience it, but it was still really nice, so that's all right. Just another reason to come back and have another adventure. So we'll just have to come back, I guess. I got to bring the family anyway, so we'll do that. One last video before it gets too dark. We are in Kentucky. We've gone 1,423 miles so far since leaving Colorado. Today we've been through Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky. So we're enjoying it. This is a beautiful drive through this section of Kentucky on I-64. I definitely would like to come back and do like some whiskey tastings or something. This is really cool, seeing all the distillery signs along the interstate here. So if this real corridor or whatever it is has a name because of all these distilleries and things, comment below, let me know what that is. But it looks super fun. This is a beautiful section of road. Really enjoying it. I'm not tired. I'm doing great. So I'm gonna keep trucking along here for a while, and we'll just stop whenever we get tired. Till then, crossing more bridges, man. Whew, man, it's a chilly start to the day, but we did make it to Virginia. We're somewhere in Allegheny County. You can see there we're just at a rest stop, just across the border from West Virginia. So anyway, definitely in Virginia, man. It's a cold start. But anyway, we got I got about 5 hours of sleep last night. Made it through 7 states yesterday, so I think that's a new record for me. So new bridge crossed. Sorry for the interstate noise, but anyway, car is running. Hopefully it's getting warm in here. It is chilly, 48 degrees, which is just a little chilly. All right, let's get rolling. All right, trip update. We're coming into Norfolk, so the trip is almost complete. We've got about 35 minutes, 28 miles left to go. We have traveled 2,018.1 miles and averaged about 29.5 miles to the gallon. So we're coming into town. There's a rainstorm here. It's raining like crazy. And the one thing I can tell you is that after 32 hours, will be 32 hours of driving by the time we get there. Although we're back to the coast, so that's pretty cool. But after 32 hours of driving, that's a lot of time to think, man. And my take on this is, this trip started as I'm going to get my daughter's car and bringing it back. And, and I'm going to tie that into going to this meeting in order to make this work. I really didn't give it any, I wouldn't say it was an afterthought to make a video on it, but it was certainly not a before thought. And to sort of halfway through the trip come into this idea of, I'm going to cross that bridge when I get there, which I do say a lot. I'm not going to say it as often anymore, because I think that I've crossed, I know I've crossed hundreds of bridges, in the last 32 hours. If not 1,000, I don't know, it's a bunch. Or at least cross paths with them, overpasses, whatever. Anyway, it's just got me thinking that it's a terrible saying, because most people don't even blink an eye when they cross a bridge. When you say that saying and you say, I'm going to cross that bridge when I get there, like you don't know the answer. I think what you really mean is, I'll build that bridge when I get there. It doesn't help you as a communicator, to put it that way. So anyway, I got to see so many cool things on this trip. Just half of them in the rain, and just little things that I really wanted to stop and show, but I just couldn't stop in the rain at. And then the ones that I did get to stop at, a little blip in Glenwood Canyon and at Gateway Arch National Park. I wish I could have spent more time absorbing those things for myself, especially with my thought process for this trip, the bridge thing. So anyway, but we've got to play the game, right? So you got to name it. I think we got to do Gateway Arch. When I was a park ranger for the Park Service, I worked in Arches National Park, and Gateway Arch would come up pretty often. People would talk about either they absolutely loved it or they absolutely sort of, I wouldn't say hate it, but they didn't understand it. It was a gateway, meant as a gateway, but what the monument, what the actual arch ended up looking like, or what should have been built instead, I heard that, a lot. So I guess we can't really rebuild it, but we could rename it. Is there something that it would be better set to represent? I feel like it is a memorial. It memorializes, more passage to the west. Just like in the last episode, we had First Landing that, really memorializes, landing on the beach for the first time to start what would become the United States. And I think that we could do the same thing with Gateway Arch. That it's certainly easy to make an argument that, especially with the construction of it, and how the two legs were joined together at the top to bridge them together. They weren't structurally sound until that happened. And I guess maybe it's just because it's modern politics or whatever, but I seem to think about that a lot now. And so to me, I think Gateway Arch should be named something that symbolizes the stability of who we are. It's in the center of the country, and it really does bridge so many of our ideas together. So, and we've built that, and it wasn't easy to build. They didn't have the answers when they started. So I think that that's very cool, and it's a good symbolism of the challenges that we have ahead of us now. So again, I don't know what I'd name it. Maybe I'll throw a comment down there below, but name Gateway Arch. Name it something that's important to you and how you think it would, you know, change our future, give us something to think about into the future. So you name it, go name Gateway Arch down there, talk about it. I'm really interested to see what you have to say for this one. But anyway, go do that, and I'm gonna finish out this drive here, and yeah, maybe give you a final data check-in when this is done. But I'm gonna focus on the road as traffic gets busier here.